Enough is enough, Raptors. Celtics, Warriors, Magic. I thought we all were in agreement here. They were second last. What the hell is happening?
Enjoy the 8th overall pick.
Why?
No, you guys are being dramatic. They're third from the bottom right now. They're in a fine place. But yes, point taken, Raptors. You can win games at home.
I, too, like to live life dangerously.
I also like to live dangerously.
This is Basketball Island. Hein, Hambone, Wes, Fab. And Fab, I get your point, but if you lose those 3 games, and especially the Orlando game, when you're up 20, just lose that game because Utah's coming. Like, Utah blew a 25-point lead to New Orleans the other night. New Orleans, yeah, a little separation, but the Jazz are coming.
Well, the good thing is the bottom 3 all have identical odds. So right now they sit in a perfectly good spot. Utah, you're right. They're tanking hard. The issue I see coming is Brooklyn and Charlotte. To me, those are the teams that Toronto has to out-tank if they want to get maximum.
You mean the red-hot Hornets, who at the time of this taping have won 3 straight?
Yeah, I mean, Brandon Miller's out. That's really putting a wrench into all the plans of Toronto's tankathon. So that one's going to be trouble. But I just got a shout out. Fab's boy on Utah, Svi Mihailuk, getting big minutes in the starting 5. You can't beat that. You can't beat that tank.
No one's
Try
gonna,
me.
No one's
Try
gonna
me,
know
dog.
the context of it. I'm not gonna get into this right now, but yeah, good for him. Great block.
Raptors have like one of the easiest schedules down the stretch of
That's
the
a
season.
concern.
That is the fear. It's not about like, being a little sensationalist or whatnot. Like, every win sucks. Like, enjoy them now. Like, cool, great. Like, that's nice. You're gonna draft 7th or 8th.
I don't think it's
They're not at that point.
bad.
They're not at that
lottery-
point.
Bad lottery luck, maybe, but like
Worried.
it's hard to see them. They're going to be in the bottom 5 records. It's hard to see them escape that. I think.
I hope so. I hope you're right. But like, Utah's doing it the right way. They have V starting.
No one's
Brooklyn-
doing it better than Washington. No one's catching the
Washington's
Wizards. Yeah.
Great at it. Brooklyn is falling hard. So it's going to come down to Charlotte. I think New Orleans will ascend.
New Orleans has too much talent
Yeah.
to out-tank the Raptors.
And they're pretty dumb too. Like, they should have just like, this season's a sunk cost, but they have
I
too
was
much
surprised.
talent.
I think 7-3 in their last 10, 4 straight wins. It's kind of crazy.
CJ McCollum ain't going down like that.
To me, Brooklyn is a danger because just look at the lineups they're putting out there.
Yeah.
I mean, they have D'Angelo Russell just running around doing whatever he wants. Like, that's a great way to lose games.
So, is it time for a little knee tendonitis for all of the Raptors that you don't want to trade?
So here's the thing. We got like what? Couple weeks to the trade deadline, 2.5, 3. You need to showcase Bruce Brown, Kelly
and
Olynyk.
boy, did those
Davion
two
Mitchell.
showcase themselves.
Yeah, Chris
against
Boucher.
the
These
Magic.
guys are actually playing well, and I believe it's leading directly to better results on the floor. So Raptors are kind of caught in this weird position where you need to get something for these guys, but you also, in order to do that, you have to play them, and they are helping contribute to wins.
Let's talk Bruce Brown, because he legit looked awesome against the Magic.
Yeah.
He looked really good, showed you everything he could do. And I went to Hambone's favorite website, his homepage, the Trade Machine. What can the Raptors get for Bruce Brown, and where do you see him going? Because my first instinct was to go to Denver, and it's like trying to make a trade with
Yeah, it's
anybody
hard.
with Denver is impossible.
So it's what we discussed, I think, a couple pods ago, was how do you get into the Jimmy Butler sweepstakes? Raptors have a lot of expiring contracts that can get you in the dance in that way. I think Bruce Brown can actually help a playoff team. I think it's been proven. Last
sure
few
he
games
can.
have been good. So it's just a matter of like, not just being there to facilitate salaries, but also a team that actually might want him. I agree. It's tough out there. Masai, Bobby have their work cut out. I will say this. If they end up buying this guy out, I'm going scorched earth. Because then you look back at that Siakam trade, and it is an absolute failure, especially considering you didn't get any young guys from Indiana.
Yeah, I think right now the challenge is you're seeing the dollar amounts of what Raptors have left over. It's really hard to package everything together to get something back in return. I'm no GM. I'm no expert. I don't know how they're going to three-team, four-team trade this thing, but your hope is you get them involved, audition them as hard as they can. Because I would say this right now. If I was an opposing team, I haven't seen anything from Bruce Brown this year enough for me to be like, yeah, that guy is part of a championship run right now. So we got, 2 weeks left? Less than 2 weeks left? This is the time. This is the time to really get them out there and keep running them out there. Let some of our actual core players rest
Yeah,
Get
but
them
what
out
if
there.
what if the Raptors start winning games? What if they like end January with like 3 extra wins? Like that's not
Well,
good.
it's better now than post trade deadline. This is better than that.
Trying to get assets before the deadline is important.
Yeah.
And if you win a few games here and there, that's fine.
Have
But
to.
they also they're winning these games at home. They're not winning games on the road at any point. So I'm not going to overreact to like a few wins here and there. But as for Bruce Brown, if you're a rival GM, it depends what you're seeing in him. Do you believe he's the player on Denver from 2 years ago? Or do you think he's damaged goods and a guy who can't contribute on a title team? It's hard to say because he's barely played. But if he looks like he did against the Magic, I mean, that's a very valuable player you can bring off the bench if you're trying to win a title.
I think the fact that he has that pedigree and we've seen him on the biggest stage be a useful contributor, that is I think GMs will view that with sort of rose-colored glasses of like, oh, I've seen it before, and now if I see a couple flashes, and he's like, this guy sat out for half a year. He's probably as healthy as he's been. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's fresh.
I think the one challenge with Bruce Brown, who's competing to get him on their team right now? No one's fighting over Bruce Brown, and that's the issue. So the market is going to dictate what he's worth, and well, he might not be getting any interest whatsoever, and that's going to really suck.
I don't think like teams are like fighting. I think a lot of teams could use him.
Yes.
Like, but again, it's can they make the salaries work? Like New York Knicks, like, you can run your starters to the ground all you want, and then come playoff time, they're like hobbled. They would love a Bruce Brown. Denver, you mentioned, would love a Bruce Brown. Phoenix would love it. But again, like
It's impossible. It's impossible.
Cap strapped, second apron stuff. So it's like I think there are teams that are interested. It's just again, my homepage, the trade machine, like it's hard to find a landing spot. I think it has to be some sort of 3 or 4 team machination.
Does Jimmy need to happen first before there starts to be more of a buzz of a market for these lower tier guys?
It's the biggest domino. So as of this taping, we just saw Phoenix consolidate their later
2031 pick for 3
pick
firsts,
for
yeah.
3 firsts are lesser than. So you essentially turn to
Just call them what it is. 3 garbage picks. They're all garbage first.
maybe,
They're going to
yeah.
be in the 20s.
They're gonna be mid tier, yeah.
Very unlikely top 10.
You essentially turned $1 into like 85 cents, maybe 80 cents, something like that. So that gives them a little more flexibility. I think that's the biggest domino to fall. But Bruce Brown undoubtedly would be useful on many playoff teams.
But if you're this is why executives get paid big dollars because we don't know what trades are out there. But if you're the Raptors, you have to turn over every stone.
Yeah.
And I don't care. It's Davion Mitchell, it's Boucher, it's Brown, it's Olynyk, even Pirtle. If there's a deal for Pirtle, you do it. No, I'm just saying, like, you explore every possible option you can to get assets back. Even if you have to take on some dead money with picks attached to it, I'm doing that.
Also, the other thing of everybody else also doing trade machine, you also have to remember whatever you put together, the other side of that trade has to be getting something in return. You'd be like, oh, this is great for Toronto. Look at this awesome trade I put together. So the idea being here is what's tough is getting 3 or 4 parties, having everyone be happy with what the return is, and that's the challenge. We're gonna see if Masai can put it together or not. But like getting everybody on the same page is like almost impossible.
Obviously that goes without saying. So like, okay, let's do it like this. What do you think, assuming salaries don't matter, what is fair return for Bruce Brown? That you can
2 seconds.
So you can look at the Pacers trade as a whole and be like, okay.
No. Sorry. What right now? Fair return, I think, would be 2 seconds. You're ecstatic.
Okay.
But at the time, you thought, oh, maybe you can get a first for
get a
Bruce
first.
Brown.
Yeah.
But that ship has long since.
2 seconds?
Sure, but what type of player are you trying to get to match?
Let's say it's dead salary filler and they expire at the end of the year and you just kind of like, you might like.
Or even like someone who's like 2 years at 15 mil or something. and
So
it's
like
not
one I
enough
was
for-
kind of
Someone
exploring.
you eventually release.
It's like, okay, so a team like the Grizzlies has a lot of moving parts, right? Lot of depth. Like they probably should consolidate a bit. Would you do something like a Kennard, Conchar, and a couple seconds for Bruce Brown and someone else on the Raps?
So I would be
like,
very...
is that something you would consider?
Well, it
would
depends
be-
what the remaining salary is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'd be wary about any years going past this. I would want expiring contracts
Okay.
first and foremost. Because, listen, man, I want to drop it. Like, I had a good conversation with Sam Mitchell about this.
Sure.
Raptors have a
Hold
lot
on, pick
of...
up that name
I
you just
know.
dropped.
Was he yelling at you?
Yes, he was. He always yells at me.
We had guys in there had a stat line 0, 0, 0, 0, 0.
Raptors have a lot of dudes on second contracts.
Yes.
The only guy who's on his rookie scale that's like a prominent player is Grady Dick
Yeah.
in the rotation right now. And obviously, they got some young guys as well. Like, Raptors aren't really like I wouldn't even call it a rebuild.
It's not. You're a tax-paying team who's rebuilding. It kind of makes no
it's a
sense.
retool. Like Quickly's got 40 mil. Scotty's max is kicking in. RJ's making almost 30 mil. Like, you don't have much room to play with. So I think making sure it's expiring salary is a key component of this. So if you can get that plus 2 seconds, you have to kind of.
But okay, so what if one of those contracts is expiring and one is like a decent, a guy who makes 6.5, 6, 7 mil for 3 years?
I would eat that.
Yeah, right. I mean,
Anything under 10 mil, I think is fair.
Yeah, depending on the player.
Yeah,
Now-
I think the sweet spot. Oh, sorry, I was just gonna say sweet spot is you can find someone who an opposing team just doesn't want on the roster anymore. You eat that, and you get one player you want to take a swing on.
Sure.
That's the type of thing I think you're looking.
Yeah, similar to like Davion Mitchell, like maybe a second, like a second wave guy. He failed in his original team that drafted him. You take a swing at him. Maybe you can find his game on
Now,
your team.
Fab mentioned the Grizzlies. Wouldn't Jimmy just be such a natural fit in Memphis? Wouldn't like
Grit and grind. I
Yeah,
mean,
bring it back.
I don't know if he has interest in playing there.
It seems like he only has
what's
interest
been
in Phoenix, right?
What's with Phoenix?
Yeah.
Is it the weather? Like, do these guys think they're going to win a championship there? They're 500.
Weather's nice.
I mean, KD.
When those guys are healthy, though, they're good.
Jimmy
Like,
said he wants to be a third. He's
Are
okay
they
being
though?
a third.
Yeah.
I had good expectations of them this year because I thought
same. I bet them to win the division. They had to have their wins.
I thought Bud would come in and kind of right the ship a bit.
Yeah.
They're just very thin. No physicality. They don't play defense.
No defense.
I mean, I know KD was hurt a bit, but Devin Booker, even with him in the lineup, at one point they lost like 9 of 10 games. I mean, I just don't get this infatuation with wanting to play in Phoenix. Like, even if Jimmy goes there, they're not winning the championship.
No, they're not.
It's Bradley Beal. I think has not been what they expected, and Yusuf Nurkic just kind of like fallen off.
Yeah, I mean that guy
have
been done.
He's gonna have an illness for like 3 weeks. Like just gonna staple him to the bench. Like
He's a turnstile defensively, also. I mean,
that's a lot of salary that isn't really contributing to winning basketball, and I think that's the.
But I
position they
think, look
find
at the
themselves in.
beginning of the year, though. When they were healthy, they came out of the gate flying. And I think that's probably what Jimmy sees. If KD and Booker are healthy, if I'm your third guy. And we talk about how strong the West is. Looking at the West standings and looking at playoff matchups, is the West really as strong as we perceived it to be at the beginning of the year?
no.
I don't think so either.
it's not.
Like,
Yeah, I think you're seeing a lot of these older teams really struggle, right? So again, what are Jimmy Butler's motivations? Is he actually trying to win a championship, or is he looking for a place where he's going to feel comfortable and wanted? Because Phoenix to me is comfortable and wanted. Memphis, which he's been on record saying like he doesn't really have any interest, that kind of seems counterintuitive to me. Because Memphis right now is in a position to be built around his strengths, right? So I don't know what he wants. What do we know? We don't know. What
I
he
think
wants,
it's a
right?
2-bird, 1-stone thing. If he does go to Phoenix and they slip in as a 6 seed,
oh, no one wants them. Yeah.
I like him against Houston. I like him against Memphis. I mean, that's a very tough series, but I think they have a legit shot. I think to me, it's just once you get to OKC or Denver, those are like, I think right now, the 2 favorites at the West.
To your point, so you're talking about the depth of the conference. I think what we're seeing is a large mid-tier.
Yeah.
Where I think OKC's kind of head and shoulders
It's OKC and everybody
running
else.
away with it. Personally, when playoffs come, I'd say they're a clear favorite, lumped in with Dallas and probably Denver. The way with Jokic, I'm sorry, just the way they look now is. So I think that's kind of like the upper tier for me. And then you just have a lot
4
of
through
these
10's all the same.
7 or 8 teams. I mean, Memphis also look great, but I don't know how much I buy them in the
Yeah, like,
postseason.
it wouldn't
I'm
shock
not
me.
sure.
I think the Clippers could. The Clippers could get Memphis in a series. The Clippers could get Houston in a series.
Sure. If Kawhi's healthy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just, and dare I say it, Fab, don't make the West face. I think the Lakers could get one of those young teams this series, pending what they can do at the deadline if they can acquire someone.
So the Lakers, I think, in a
West made the face anyways.
That's just his face.
the Lakers in a one-off, I agree, maybe could give someone a run.
So you're saying if this was the in-season tournament, then yes, or the Emirates NBA Cup?
They can't string together 4 straight playoff wins. They just don't have
These
that.
older teams are like kind of just like grinding through the season.
Yeah.
Like Dallas, I even mentioned Dallas. Like no one like Houston, Memphis, cool, great stories. They run into one of these teams, and it's just like all for naught.
My take on the West, every single one of these teams that are anchored by old dudes, like every single Clippers, like Phoenix, Lakers, no one's getting out of the first round. I don't think any of them are going to get out of the first round. They don't play any defense right now. And defense is really the key to the top 3-4 teams in the West right now. Think about every single one of them. They hound you on defense. Self-proclaimed the first guy to have Butler go to Phoenix. He's the only guy who plays defense there. No one else. plays
KD will play.
KD
KD will play
But
defense.
you know what, man? Like, at what point? At what point we're gonna see? We have to wait until the first round of playoffs. He's
Probably.
not playing any right now. So that's the problem for all these old teams. It's just like they just can't hang their hat on that side. And then you think about the one old team that's actually doing it, the Clippers. Where are they making their hay right now? On the defensive end. So I'm just saying, like, Butler should probably end up on a team where he'll be part of a defensive infrastructure where he can bring some of his ISO playmaking, but he should be part of a team that has a good defensive kind of infrastructure.
I don't like him as the guy you say, hey, Jimmy, shut this guy down. I don't
No,
like
he
that.
doesn't need that.
He's too old.
No,
for it,
no, no,
frankly.
no.
Looks like Fab's got something cooking up
Oh
here.
no, I was just gonna say, if at the time of this taping, the play-in in the West is Dallas, Sacramento, Minnesota, and Phoenix. I mean,
Gauntlet.
Bloodbath.
that's
What a
nuts,
gauntlet.
man.
And like the Warriors are like
They're not even in the playoffs.
Yeah, they're 11th player in the
They're not
game.
even in the playoffs.
You guys really don't think though, if Jimmy's on Phoenix and then Phoenix can be like, we have KD, we have Booker, who like Booker especially lately has been just killing it, and Jimmy, and he's playoff Jimmy. That's not enough fire. Like, what series are they going into? It's OKC's the only one where it's like
Dallas, I think, would get them
Dallas,
still.
tough.
I get that, but I'm saying those
Denver.
three dudes.
Denver would get them still, I
Tough.
think.
I think Denver gets them because of the matchup. I'm just saying the star power and having those three guys where it's like, hey, Denver has the best player, Phoenix has the second, third, fourth best player.
Put it this way: if you can get off Bradley Beal, that's a win.
Yeah.
If you can trade Bradley Beal for almost anything at this point, it's a win. Because
there's
he's,
also-
he's been a complete.
Well, in the heat of
complete
said, I
failure.
think that they won't take Beal on unless he agrees to waive the no trade clause when going to Miami. And he's not going to, there's no
Why
chance he's
would
going
he?
to do
It's the
that.
greatest
And even for
leverage ever.
Beal himself, he's much better off and can contribute more on a team that's not Phoenix right now.
Yeah,
he can bring way more.
He should
somewhere
honestly just enjoy being on a bad team.
Yeah.
And taking 20 shots a game. No, that's clearly who he
Embrace
wants to
your
be at
inner
this point.
Jordan
Yeah.
Poole.
Yeah, man.
That's what you
Jordan
gotta do.
Poole's having a great time in Washington.
Exactly.
else. He's loving it.
Let's transition to All Star. This was a very fun exercise, and there was a lot of tough choices. We're gonna start with our starters. So let's go East starters, then to reserves, or do we want to go East starters and then West starters?
So just to lay it out first. So 5 starters, 2 backcourt, 3 frontcourt.
Yeah.
The reserves are 2 backcourt, 3 frontcourt, and 2 wild cards.
Mm-hmm.
So 12 total. 2 wild cards. Their position doesn't matter.
And for me, I feel like games played has some bearing. So like,
Which was tricky when it came to Luka. Because Luka to
there's
me
a few
played
guys.
enough.
There's
Luka
a few
played
guys.
enough.
A
I
few
don't
guys
think
like
he's
this.
played enough.
Okay, so
well,
I thought
we'll
about
go through
texting
it.
guys, but I'm like, why
Yeah.
don't want to
I don't
spoil
think
this in our group
Franz-
chat?
Let's go through it.
Yeah.
We're
I
gonna
think
do
Franz
East
Wagner
starters,
is playing
West
enough.
starters, and then we'll go through reserves.
Yeah, I feel like you have chirped me enough that I will self-value myself, and maybe we should just build an animation for this because
what you do.
You can get me just like throwing it up, put my head on like someone dunking
Tracy
nicely.
McGrady,
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah,
Tracy McGrady in the All-Star game.
4-inch vertical.
Hey man, I've got the Sam Perkins vertical.
You're
I don't need
ground-bound.
much. Yeah,
You are
there's nothing wrong with
ground-bound.
that. Set shot.
You and gravity.
You know what? Thank you, Kirk Goldsberry, for Sprawl Ball and that chart in there that shows you if you shoot from this area, the rebound's going here. Because then you can really, when you aren't gifted athletically like I am, then that's what you got to do, man.
Yeah, not gifted.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Continue.
I pointed to you because you also are not gifted athletically.
Are you
Okay,
kidding me?
East All Stars.
It's a joke.
And I think this is where we're gonna be the most similar here.
Hit me.
I got Mitchell, I got Brunson, I got Giannis, Tatum, Towns, and I don't really know. I think you said
Same.
yeah.
I have the exact
Yeah,
same.
so yeah, all of our picks are up there. Yeah, we all have the same
All
five.
the same stars?
Yeah.
Okay.
All the
I
same
don't
five.
see how you can really go away from any of those 5 guys.
Garland and Mitchell.
He's not having a better season than Brunson.
Yeah.
Garland versus Mitchell. So it'd be one of the Cavs.
Yeah,
in my
I
opinion.
mean, Mitchell's having a better statistical season, and I mean, Garland's not better than Brunson.
I think
right
there's a
now.
level of pecking order on that
no,
team.
come on.
Yeah.
I think there's a
Yes.
pecking order on
Mitchell's
that
the
team.
guy.
It's clear he's
but
the guy.
Garland's efficiency
Oh, he's been nice.
is unbelievable.
nice.
And I'm Darius Garland guy too. So I think it was more of a conversation, but ultimately I went with tiebreaker is to who's the better player. And I think that's the other thing with All-Star. Who's the better player? Give it to them, but I think Garland deserves honorable mention.
Okay, so now reserves. This is where we might have a bit of an argument.
Yeah.
So, and I did what you did too. Cade, I stretched the truth a little bit here. My forwards are Cade, Jaylen Brown, Mobley.
Same.
Guards, Trey and Garland.
Ooh.
Wild card, Lillard, and you guys are gonna chirp me, but I don't give a Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero, you're making my wild card All-Star team.
That's not bad. So I had
Sorry, wait. Notable missions: LaMelo, Bam, Allen, Maxey.
Okay, so that's interesting. So I went for forwards for going that way. Cade Cunningham, because he's 6'6", he guards forwards.
I mean,
I'm
it's
okay
kind
with
of
that.
cheating. He's a guard.
Yeah,
I
but
guard-
dude,
he guards
too hard
forwards.
in the East,
I'm
man.
saying he's not
yeah.
forward.
He
I'll
guards
cheat too.
forwards. He guards forwards.
Does he have fantasy? Does he have small forward eligibility in fantasy? I think he has point guard, shooting guard, small forward. Is he
He's
not?
GF, I think.
Does he have SF?
He's GF.
Okay, whatever.
I-
That's fine. I counted him as a guard because
Yeah.
that's where he's classified as. So I'm doing an ethical pick.
I got Cade Cunningham forward, Evan Mobley, who's having an unbelievable season, Jaylen Brown, reigning Finals MVP. Not his best year, but deserves mention. So you got Darius Garland. I have Damian Lillard.
So I had Garland and Trey, and then my wild cards were Lillard and Hero.
So the wild card is very tough. So it's obviously, in my opinion, 2 guards. I had Trae Young there. He's leading the league in assists, but his efficiency sucks. But I'll give it to him just because I think Atlanta's actually playing better. I think he's actually been doing a lot more.
The
of
last month he's really
intangible
tightened
stuff.
things up too.
Yeah, I just like him. I think he's also just the better player. And I have to give some love to this guy, even though I've been poo-pooing them a little bit. That's
RJ?
Yeah, right. Dear Lord, help us. Tyrese Halliburton. Tyrese Halliburton has Indiana has been a lot better. Tyrese started off the year very poorly and since then has come through. Hero was on the bubble for me. I had Hero. I think Jalen Johnson's on the bubble. I think Pascal Siakam's on the bubble. LaMelo Ball, who might end up like top vote getter. And one guy too that's interesting, Zach LaVine.
Yeah.
Kind of
I
having
looked at
like
him.
a
I looked at him.
renaissance.
Couldn't get there with him.
couldn't get there,
He's
couldn't get there.
honorable mention.
Yeah.
No,
So those are,
you're fully
no
out on
ban.
Maxey?
Nah, Philly's not. No,
Just
he's
because
not-
they're so bad?
I think
Yeah.
Maxey's actually not having a great year.
He's
so.
I think he's anything they have done, he's sort of carried them. They have been
Not as
garbage.
good
Yeah,
as I like
that's
him.
fine. I had him out. I'm just asking the
And
question.
I'm a Bam guy too. I even had Bam there. He's been inefficient as
Yeah,
well.
to me, Maxey and LaMelo are in the same bucket, right? Losing teams, but playing well, performing well. But, okay, so on my list, the 5 guys I had locked in is same thing. Brown, Mobley, Cade, Garland, Trey. Those are my 5 guys. And then I had 5 guys in yellow on my bubble, which is Dame, Tyrese, Hero, Maxey, and Ball. I ultimately went with Lillard and Tyrese Halliburton.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same theory I have on, you're going to see in the West in a second. Winning matters. Winning matters. And I'm sorry, LaMelo, I know you're like top 3, top 5 in scoring, but the fact is you're going to be fighting for Cooper Flag. Like a team like that, same argument, why can't Scotty Barnes be on the team? It's the exact same. Tyrese Maxey, same boat. Tyler Hero, Bam, those are the guys that I would have said more on the bubble. But again, Halliburton's got this team as one of the top six teams in the East. Something has to be rewarded for that, and so that's how I have it.
Why Halliburton over Siakam? Any kind of conversation in your mind there?
I just think who's more important to the team is
Yeah.
Halliburton.
Halliburton's the engine.
Yeah.
And Siakam's having a very efficient season.
Yeah.
But if I who's the best player on the Pacers?
Yeah, it's Halliburton. I agree.
Halliburton.
All right, Fab, what do you got?
Okay, so my guards on the reserves are I put Lillard and Trey. Trey, I agree with the inefficiency, but Atlanta's pretty good. And I mean, assist leader in the NBA. He's an all-star this year.
Trey's
He just
earned
is. Front court, so Mobley, Brown, and I went Franz because he got hurt, but he still played 25 games, and you know what? He carried the Magic for 15, 20. I'm not
without
going
Paolo, yeah.
I'm not going to penalize him because he got injured. I mean, I just think, especially in a thin conference for front court players, I think he's been one of the 12 best players.
If Franz stays healthy, undoubtedly an all-star.
We can disagree on the games played. I'm just
Yeah.
not punishing him because he got hurt.
Yeah,
So-
you know what? I'll take a step back. Yeah, that's a good pick.
I
I think games played. It's a discussion.
It's a discussion. It depends. It's whatever your criteria is. And my other two
I think
wild
because you had an ethical list, whereas Hambone and I unethical
Yeah.
with arcade
You
stuff.
might-
I understand it. Yeah.
and my two wild cards are Garland and Cade.
Yeah.
So notable omissions, you guys kind of went through them. I mean, for me, Jared Allen probably deserves to be an all-star. But this is an entertainment spectacle.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I don't care to watch him in an all-star game.
Yes.
Yo,
I really don't.
Let's go on record. Fab said he likes Lillard more than Garland. All right.
It depends. Whatever. It depends. Whatever you want to do, man. I didn't put too much stock into who's wild card, who's guard. Like they're all guards anyway.
Yeah.
I picked my two wild card guys are guards. So
You know what
it's
I'd just
irrelevant.
love to see? The level of mocking I got from the 3 of you and from Mo when I took Cade Cunningham and just the looks of like, you don't know ball. Wow,
You take him every year. You take him every year, and you
I
say
was
that.
just early. I was just early.
You take him every year. You're
Cade's-
like a pick of the draft.
Cade's been awesome, man.
Yeah.
He's so
And
fun
they're
to
winning.
watch.
And
Yeah.
they're winning. So good for him. He deserves
deserves
it.
it.
MIP. Around a favorite right now.
All right.
Don't get me started on that.
Oh yeah.
To the West.
First overall pick.
Now the West-
MIP.
West.
The West
will be
is
fun.
going to get very spicy.
It's West,
I
yeah,
feel.
West is crazy. This was really hard, but
Self alley-oop yourself. Go.
okay, here we go. Shea, Luka, LeBron,
Luka.
KD, Jokic. Yeah.
Played enough games.
But hey, man, He's at what? He's played 34 games or 32 games or something.
Can't do it.
What is he at? He's around the same as Franz then,
He
right?
may not even be healthy for the.
No, I know that. I know he's not going to be healthy for the
I
game.
think games played matter, man. I think it does. Like Luka's one of those guys. Like same thing with like
22, I
Embiid
think.
in the East, Banchero. Like these guys should
24?
be
Sorry,
all-stars.
sorry.
22.
22.
Okay.
22, less than half.
Yes.
Okay.
That's not enough.
But okay, so Franz 24 is enough though?
No, I disagree.
Well,
with that as well.
I didn't put Franz in.
Yeah, I disagree with that as well.
Okay, so go down the list. Let's go.
All right. So wait. So you had who?
So Shea, Luka, LeBron, KD, Jokic.
KD. Wow, another game.
Yeah.
So I got Shea. I got Ant-Man. I got Jokic. I have LeBron. That's more of like a I think
Legacy
he deserves it.
award?
Legacy,
Yeah.
but
He's been
actually
awesome,
really
yeah.
good lately. And Victor Wembanyama.
Okay.
As a starter, his numbers tell the story alone.
So you're going Twin Towers, eh?
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Also would make for a very boring All-Star game. Wes?
Mine's kind of weird. I left it as the voter also. So this is the one. I have Steph Curry in there. I don't think he deserves
Just
it.
as
but
like a legacy pick?
He's in there.
Yeah, I'm
okay?
good with
so
that.
it's
I
him,
understand it.
him, Shea, and Jokic and AD.
Sorry,
I've
him,
eight.
Shea, and Jokic AD. Okay.
That's my 5.
I went with Shea, Steph, Jokic, KD, Wemby, and Steph. Absolutely, it's in the Bay. You telling me this guy's not going to start
No,
the
like-
All-Star game at
he's
home?
in there.
He's leading the league in
But
threes.
he's gonna win the fan vote for sure. I just looked at it like I don't think he deserves to be on
They're
that
not
team.
even a playoff
Honestly,
team.
no.
Yeah,
no,
I
okay,
know.
but look at the team he has around him. He's dragging that team to any kind of respectability.
Ant's had a better year.
Ant has a better team than Steph.
Yeah, but he's had a better year. More efficient
Who would you rather have?
going forward or this season?
Right now.
Ant-Man.
And
Okay. So the guy in the Olympics who single-handedly won them a semi.
I don't
You'd rather have the guy who was on the bench.
I don't discount it. I don't discount that point. I just think Ant-Man is just kind of a two-way monster.
I'm just saying Minnesota's way more built for success than Golden State is
I-
right now. Who's the second best scorer on Golden State?
I think the sentimental aspect of it makes sense. The fact that
He's still the best shooter in the league. I'm just saying, like he is.
I understand. I think there's an argument to be made for both.
So did you guys put Luka on your reserves?
Nope.
And how many games do you think Luka would need then? If Luka played, say the number I got wrong off the top, the 34. If Luka played 34, is he starting for you or? on your
yeah. If
reserves?
you play 34,
like-
yeah, but 22 and 34, they're just such
Yeah, it's a
different
massive
numbers.
difference. I understand.
30 is a good cutoff for me personally. Like 30 is like I would like to see more than that as well, and also minutes played matters. Yeah, I think 30 is a
The
cutoff.
cop-out move for me was I put Luka on there because he's not going to end up playing, so
Yeah.
then you can
You can
slide
move-
someone
yeah,
else
exactly.
in. It's like,
Yeah.
in terms of
Yeah.
politics, it's easier to do that than to remove him completely, and then people are starting to create noise about that.
Okay, so the bench:
Reserves. Yeah.
Wemby, Brow, Jalen Williams, my forwards. Steph and Ant are my guards. My wild cards: Kyrie, and the last one I was so torn between Sengun and Triple J because it's like you need to reward that winning. I would love to have both of them. I went Sengun, but honestly, man, it's Sophie's choice.
So no Devin Booker.
No, honestly, Booker has been awesome lately, but who's he going to replace of those guys? There's too much talent there.
Well, let me tell you.
and I have Harden, Triple J, Fox as well with Booker as notable omissions.
So guards off in the reserves: Kyrie Irving, amazing
Has to be.
season. Love Kyrie. Stephen Curry, again, him and Ant-Man
Sure.
go either way, but I got Steph off the bench. Anthony Davis, numbers speak for themselves. Jalen Williams, Thunder are gonna win.
You have to. They need two
65
All-Stars.
plus.
There's no chance.
Jalen's been really, really
I'm guessing
good.
we all have Jalen Williams. Right?
Jalen Williams a must. So I have Şengün in there. It was between him and Jaren
A
Jackson.
man who loves defense picked him over Triple J.
Jaren Jackson. Yeah, I don't know. I just think to me, Şengün does more for the Rockets offensively, whereas Jaren Jackson, it's John Morant's team. I think Jaren Jackson's just been healthier this season. And my wild cards, I have the Suns. I have Durant and Booker as a wild card. A lot of interesting omissions to me. Jaren
think-
Jackson was the hardest.
I don't like
Things-
Booker. I don't like Booker.
Thinks
Yeah, I don't
Hambone
this
knows
year at
nothing
all.
about defense in the NBA Mario themed hats with this
Nothing.
Triple
I mean,
J
I-
not selected pick.
I have a hard time getting to almost half the team being Lakers and Suns.
No, I hear you,
Like,
man.
Really?
Yeah.
That's half the a third of the.
Braun and
Western
Brow have
All-Star.
to make it. That's fine. Braun and Brow have to make it.
Yeah, well,
Durant and
I
Booker
just see
have
on
to
my
make
list,
it,
Fab, I agree with you here. Okay, so Wemby, I got Wemby there. I got KD, James, Luka, who will eventually slide out. And then I have Ja Morant as one of my top 10. The guys I switched out in the bubble, same thing. Winning, you got to reward. I think you have to reward it. Houston can't have 0 All-Stars. That would be blasphemous. So Şengün's the guy I had representing them, and then Jalen Williams. Those two guys for me replaced Kyrie and Jaren Jackson Jr.
Oh.
Those are the two guys because I have Luka on there. So I don't think Dallas can have two with the way the season's going for them right now. Luka's playing 22 games, so eventually not play. And then Kyrie's probably got
replacing
probably ends up with what happens, right?
Right, Fab.
Okay, my reserves: guards, Kyrie and Ant-Man. Front court, LeBron, AD, J-Dub. Wild cards. This was tough. I went Şengün and I went Luka.
So we all went Şengün.
So I had a hard time leaving off like any Grizzly, but Ja's numbers he hasn't played
Yeah,
that
hasn't
much,
played
and
enough.
his numbers aren't that good.
Yeah.
But he's an all-star. Like he's the
Yeah.
guy you want at the all-star game. Like once again, you want excitement. I don't know if I want to see Triple J there. Like even the Kings, I don't want to see Domantas Sabonis
Yeah.
running dribble handoffs in
Yeah.
the All-Star game. I want excitement. So that was tough, but I agree. Şengün, Houston's too good. And his numbers are too good. Like you can't tell me this guy's
It's
not.
funny,
an
all of us
all-star
pretty
this
much
year.
have that same debate of Şengün versus Triple J.
And Luka, I get it. Not enough games. It's still Luka Doncic. He's an all-star. And I kind of hope he almost just declines, and then you can slot in maybe someone from the Grizz.
That's the main
right? Like
reason.
that's kind of where that's why I put him as a wild card. That maybe he just says no.
Now, you mentioned players you want or don't want to see in an All-Star game, and someone who I don't think anybody wants to see, we all had off. Any argument for Harden? The Clippers are winning games.
No, here's my.
I
have a take on that. If there's a single All-Star, it should be Norm Powell from that team, and neither of them are
Hey,
going to be.
I
on the
wouldn't
team.
even go Powell. I would go like, I think Zubac has been better than than Harden. Dude,
he hasn't been better than
Could you
Harden.
imagine?
Come on.
Could you imagine?
I know. But like you're telling me the best Clippers? I think Harden's the third best.
on.
No,
Clipper.
he's
hold
not
on.
the third best.
Let-
player.
Come on,
Come
this
on,
season?
man.
I'll
My
come in-
opinion.
this is an honest perspective. His shooting efficiency.
Oh, it's terrible. He's like-
it's the
he's like
lowest
sub
it's been in
40,
his
right?
career.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he's still the engine of the team.
Yes,
he
you
is.
can't tell me he's less important than Norm Powell. Like really?
I have Powell over.
You're telling
Harden.
me Norm Powell's better than James Harden?
Okay.
No.
How many
Well,
points do you think Powell averages right now?
I get it. He's a bucket getter. But if you
Everything
take Harden
runs
off
through
the
Harden,
court,
yeah.
what's Norm going to be doing?
James is the engine. That's fine. But I'm just saying. like,
there's levels to
Yeah.
this. Like,
course.
someone is the initiator of everything they do, and Norm is a byproduct of that.
Yeah.
Norm Powell's not like carrying the team as the number one option.
No, but the raw numbers. Like, I'm not talking about
Listen,
Harden's career.
neither of them are all stars. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm not
take-
putting
I
any of them.
I'm just sort of
Clippers
saying
get zero.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's like the
what I'm
Clippers are
saying.
winning, but it's also weird. It's like Memphis is winning at a huge level, and I
Yeah.
have no Grizzlies on. So like it's
It's
the West
tough.
is loaded,
It's
man.
really
It's really
tough.
tough.
So like to me that I find that nuts that you have no Grizzlies, but then Houston gets one. They're literally half a game apart, right? So what I'm saying
But
is
it
like,
goes to-
like that's kind of contradictory, like in terms of your principles there. It's like if one guy has to have it, one team has to have it. Memphis is literally right there. They should both have the same
So, but
argument
who am I
for them.
taking off then?
One of the guys that you have a double up on the back.
But it
end,
went
like,
to
it's
the
two
with the
Dallas,
tiebreaker
right?
was more fun,
Yeah,
and
true.
to Fab's thing, Triple J was not triple.
He-
Şengün can at least be fun in an All Star game,
I'll
whereas
admit,
Triple J is not going
by
to.
numbers, he's probably an all-star. Jared Allen's probably an all-star. Sabonis is probably an all-star. But I just don't care. I'm leaving them off. It's my team. I'll pick whoever I want.
I'm not putting
Yeah,
Sabonis.
I
in.
ultimately put Morant over Jaren Jackson for sure. And then what? So my thought about the Dallas thing, you talk about Phoenix, the Lakers, a lot of these legacy teams having two All-Stars. Well, Dallas is in the play-in tournament right now.
Yeah.
I get that they made it all the way last year, but right now they're not in top six.
Because Luka's missed so much time though, like
So,
Kyrie
but-
has to be on there.
So it's the same idea as like why Orlando have zero right now.
They
Same
don't in my books.
Yeah, there you go, right? But like, it's the same concept, right? The teams that are number 1, 2, and 3, if they have zero representatives to the All-Star game, it's like, okay, what's the criteria then, right? Like winning doesn't matter anymore, is what we're saying, and that's not our principle.
I think we're.
I just think there's
we're trying
degrees to it.
We're trying to read through a gray area here,
Yeah.
right? We're making the assumption that if Luka is healthier, they're probably a top 4
Yeah.
team, and Kyrie's numbers stand out on their own. So I get it if you want to leave one of them off. If you want to leave Luka off because of games, that's fine. Just to me, he's clearly one of the best players in the
Yeah.
league. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want him at the All-Star game.
and that's
My
why
guy-
I put him in the starting, because what we saw through those 22 games,
Yeah.
he was
I
awesome.
think if you're a better player for me, it's a tiebreaker. If you haven't played enough games this season, you are not an all-star this season. But if it comes down to two players who had the better career, who's clearly an all-star, like based on history, then that tie goes to that person.
And also, once again, my perspective, it's an entertainment spectacle. So I'm going to side with guys who I think are a little
Yeah.
more, or who are going to put on more of a show. Like,
Yeah.
that's just how I see it.
It's a good debate between All-Star selection versus All-NBA.
Yeah.
Right? And then those are two kind of different
They're
things.
different, yeah. I value defense way more in that than I would like the little bit of the flash that we
But
see.
once again, you don't want like boring big men in an All-Star game. That's not
Yeah.
fun to watch.
Like Hambone wants Zubats out there.
I
Yes.
mean, he's been really good.
Well, I'm glad none of us put Sabonis in. That was nice.
No.
yeah, no
no.
chance.
He's
No
been
chance.
good.
job, everybody.
No
I think he
chance.
should get in. But like
Fox should be in over him if anybody.
I mean,
Fox is good.
it depends who you want to
Boston
look.
really good.
I mean, the numbers. If you look at Sabonis leading the league in boards, I mean, I'm just saying he stuffs the stat sheet. He does, but
Cool.
none of us picked him.
He can make the fantasy All-Star team.
Sure.
Good job. All right. We anything else? I think that's
I think that's it.
that's it. We put a nice little bow on that All-Star conversation. So also,
Agree,
anything on the
disagree?
format? This format seems. I don't even know
like
what to
it.
think of this format.
Don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like
Don't
it
like
either.
it.
Can't you just go east-west?
Yeah.
What?
Don't like it.
They're trying to put makeup on a pig.
Yeah.
Lipstick on a pig?
Is that the word?
That's it.
I think that's the
it.
expression, but
Well,
they could put a little eyeliner too, I guess. I mean,
not?
that'd be
Little,
bad.
little blush.
let's go Google it. Is it lipstick on a pig or
he's right,
is
he's
it
right.
makeup on a pig? Let us know in the comments.
He's right.
That's a true test to see which commenters are really watching to the bitter end here.
I like that.
That's it for us. Catch us on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We'll see you next week.